I think everyone's back, so let's go back over to Molly to close this out.
The final thing, Theo, if you could put up the slides, if you're the final thing we'll be discussing is social media. Social media is a super powerful tool, but it can also alter our thinking and feelings. And as many of you discussed in my workout room, doom scrolling, the act of just scrolling through your phone, looking at horrible news, and this can only worsen climate anxiety. So I like to share with you 3 sources or organizations that you can follow to boost and kind of brighten up your feed. The first one is Future Earth. They do Good News Tuesdays, where they round up all of the positive climate news that happened that week. I especially like that when I see it pop up in my feed after a time of just doom scrolling and I see some positivity in the world. The next one is It's the Garbage Queen. I know her from TikTok. She is a climate communicator and she does a lot of good, positive news. She hardly ever reports on anything negative. So I especially like to have her in my field. Leah Thomas's book, and she founded the Intersectional Environmentalist in the summer of 2020. I especially like this feed because it promotes the intersectionality of environmentalism and how climate justice is racial justice. So I encourage you all to set healthy boundaries with your social media and fill your feed with uplifting climate leaders. And now we will be going to Megan for an exciting event coming up.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for those breakout rooms. It was really great to connect with all of you. Some of you I've met before in different events, so that was fun to see you all again and to kind of share in that experience that we're all having. So yeah, an upcoming event that I'm helping to spearhead with my organization down in San Diego and organizations throughout California, including people here in California Youth versus Big Oil, is an action in Sacramento, which will be happening on August 5th. And this was kind of an escalation of just the same demands that California Youth versus Big Oil and same campaigns that you all have been working on, which are the stop, drop, and roll demands. So some of activists in San Diego 350, the Youth v. Oil team, have been working on the school resolution campaign with all of you to stop giving new permits, roll back the 3,200-foot buffer zones, and drop existing permits. And we, members of Youth versus Oil, Youth v. Oil in San Diego, got this passed through the San Diego City Council, and we wanted to escalate it by collaborating with people throughout the state and going directly to the target, who's Governor Newsom, and doing a big media-worthy action while getting in community with each other and having the narrative be that it's youth-led. So the idea is an action on August 5th, and we need your help planning it. So we have working groups. We have like, I don't know, 9 working groups or something, and a steering committee. And we're plugging away at, coordinating busing up from throughout California, coordinating beautiful visuals, learning how to work with the press, and then also putting on workshops so that we can skill up youth climate skills, I guess it's repetitive, and have people ready to take the action. So I'm going to put in the chat our concept plan. Thank you, Adam and Alex. Awesome. And so this is the concept plan. You can kind of read what I just said, read more about our goals, which are to, pushing Governor Newsom to end oil extraction, building youth and frontline power. And then we're also doing an inside and outside strategy. So we're going to be doing a big, colorful, newsworthy rally outside of the Capitol. And then we're also hopefully going to be meeting with legislators inside the Capitol to increase our leverage. So what you can do, please sign up for a working group. I'm going to put the link in the chat right now. And after you sign up for a working group, you'll help that working group execute its area. And you can also be part of the steering committee. And we are especially looking for, well, we're looking for everybody, but we would love if you're a college student. We're really missing that demographic. And that would be great to hold on with the youth narrative, and then also have people who like have maybe less restrictions about permission slips and all that stuff. So if you're a college student, that would be awesome too. And I mentioned in my working group, but I just graduated from UC Davis last year, and I'm also working at UCSD. So connected with some of the UC Green New Deal groups and stuff. So anyway, would love to take any questions or.
Oh, someone asked about transportation, which I know the answer to, but if you wanted to tell them.
Yes, Robin asked, can only people from Sacramento attend? No, we are working on getting buses in San Diego and throughout California to bus people up there. And we're also looking at lodging. So all of these details, we need help figuring them out, but we will be getting people up there. And Carolyn, if I can't make August 5th, can I still help with the planning process? Yes, please come and help out. And yeah, thanks for the support. Awesome. And yes, Pablo.
I live in Albany near the Berkeley and UC Village. The Albany is far away in Sacramento. I have to take a car or with my mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can help with planning the action, or also if you would be willing to make it to the action, you can decide with your family if that's the right.
Decide with my part of family.
With your family, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
I just want to say something. I guess in the breakout room, we were talking about how we should, or was it earlier? I can't remember. My mind's kind of jumbled. But we were talking about the uplifting people that could go on our social media and all that. I'm not sure how effective that might be, but there's a couple of new social media mediums. Which is the Clubhouse and also Twitter Spaces. I've been participating in those rooms that where it's an audio a social media app where you could actually, it's just all audio. You just like talk to people who are going to rooms for specific topics and all that. So I've been going in laylately. I've been going to this room called Regenerative Governance. And it's all about trying to see if we could realize a steady state economy. And a steady state economy would be most, you call it, it would help stabilize things here on Earth. So it's just an idea.
Awesome. Yes, thank you for sharing those thoughts. And it sounds like maybe the social media working group might be a good place for you to help push some of those ideas. I'm not a social media person, so thank you for having ideas.
Not a social media either, but is like having discussions with people about environment and economics, and if there's people that don't understand the severity of the climate change, then it's better communicated through talking versus typing little messages back and forth, and it's just people are not as responsive, or you know, they. I think talking in these rooms are a lot more effective.
Awesome, thank you.
Sorry,
Great.
you said regenerative economics or regenerative?
It was a regenerative governance. It was a topic, and basically, regenerative meaning like we try to build an economics where everything is used to that's reused to the point over and over again. We don't use like new resources, and we try to keep new materials to a minimum. We try, do composting and permaculture and all kinds of cool things. I could share. There's a website called Appropriate. You call it Appropedia, or it's about appropriate technology for the land that you're living on. You do different technologies that are that basically are appropriate to the surrounding areas that you are living in, depending on what climate and what region you are living in the world. Let me get that website in the chat.
And I saw that Theo just put, their end survey in the chat. So if you want to get involved that way, you can too. Thank you all so much for listening, and take care.
Now from here, we're going to No New Permits with Valeria.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So hi, everyone. I'm Valeria, and I'm a fellow with California Youth versus Big Oil and the Central California Environmental Justice Network. So I'll be talking about the No New Permits initiative. And No New Permits is a youth-led campaign that is in partnership with our allies in the Last Chance Alliance network. For context, Governor Newsom has made many significant moves against fossil fuels, such as committing to ban fracking by 2024 and phasing out fossil fuel production by 2045. However, this is not fast enough. We must accelerate this timeline against fossil fuels to protect California's people, environment, and communities. Whenever oil companies want to drill new wells, they have to apply for permits from the California government. The government agencies can either approve or deny those permits for new projects. California Youth versus Big Oil created this campaign with the goal of pressuring Governor Newsom into publicly committing to end permits for new fossil fuel projects by the end of 2022, allowing California to be on track of fully phasing out fossil fuel production by the early 2030s. In this process, we hope to elevate youth's voices through mobilizations, op-eds, social medias, call-ins, petitions, banner drops, and other direct actions. So now let's talk about what exactly we've done for no permits. We hosted an online text faking action that flooded Governor Newsom's office with postcards demanding to phase out new fossil fuel permits. Through these efforts, we sent over 300 postcards, and with partner organizations, we sent a total of 10,104 postcards. This was in combination with the march in Sacramento that included multiple organizations from California fighting for no new permits. We also worked with the Last Chance Alliance on 2 distributed days of action on April 8th and June 14th, where over 11 locations across California participated. We have also made plenty of social media efforts through posting infographics, calls to action, and more to promote no new permits. And by the way, you guys totally follow our social medias. So yeah, shameless plug. And next slide, please. So this was the April 8th day of action, and about 10 locations across California participated, and it was really amazing. It was the first protest that I had ever been to, and I went to the protest in Fresno, and it was overall a really great experience. And the next slide. And here's some photo from our June 14th distributed day of action. Goleta, Oakland, Sacramento, San Diego, San Luis Obispo, and Santa Barbara, Carpinteria, and Ventura all participated, and it was overall a super successful action. So now let's talk about where no new permits is headed. This summer, we're planning out many great and effective actions, and they're all youth-led. This will likely include text faking, call-ins, postcards, days of actions, and more. We would love all of you to help us plan and participate in these actions. A big focus for this summer will be responding to wildfire season, and we all know that fires are getting worse and more dangerous because of climate change. During wildfire season, California Youth versus Big Oil will be lifting up the voices of youth and those most impacted by these wildfires to emphasize the No New Permits campaign. We hope to educate people about the connections between oil drilling permits, climate change, and the worsening fires, which will be putting more pressure on the governor. We have been establishing a wildfire working group that will be connecting fossil fuel production to the increased rates of wildfires. This group will be acting very fast after wildfires in California, creating op-eds, banner drops, social media posts, and more. We'll also be posting our social media, and there will be post calls to action, explainographics, and op-eds. We want to expand the working group with lots of new people taking on roles and helping plan actions. So if this is something you want to be a part of, please let us know in the chat and the exit survey. This is only some of the amazing work we'll be doing in this campaign, as we also plan to drop a high production video, host monthly general meetings, and do more outreach for higher engagement and recruitment. So if you want to get involved in this campaign, make sure to show your interest in the exit survey, contact us, join our meetings, and follow our socials. So thank you guys so much for listening. I know that was a lot of information. So does anyone have any questions?
Can I watch this later?
Yes, you can. We'll likely be sending the link to the recording in the emails, the follow-up email.
Thanks.
Got Pablo and then Cesar on stack. Pablo, do you want to go first?
So I'll be answering a question in the chat. So the wildfire campaign is part of No New Permits, and the wildfire campaign will be used to emphasize the No New Permits, but it is a little bit different in terms of teams. The wildfire campaign will be more specific to the wildfires happening in California, and they'll be focusing on connecting the wildfires to the No New Permits. So yeah, I hope that clarified everything. And I see that there's some people on stack. So if Pablo wants to talk, go ahead.
Okay. So when is going to be next meeting? So are you going to post on social media on Instagram? When is the next meeting?
Yes, thank you. We will likely do our next like No New Permits campaign meeting in a week or two, and we will be posting it to our social media. And we'll send you the link if you show interest in the exit survey. So yeah, thank you, Pablo.
No. No.
And now I'll be passing it to Cesar, who has his hand raised.
Sweet, thank you. Can like anybody become part of the coordination team, or how do you become part of like the planning?
Yes, as long as you join our weekly team meetings, which we usually have them on Tuesdays at 6 p.m., but we might reschedule based on the new recruits. But if you're interested in becoming part of the coordination team, please let us know and like contact us. You could let us know in the exit survey, and also feel free to email me or any of the other coordinators, and we'll invite you to our Discord and give you the links to the weekly meetings. Thank you. And does anyone else have any other questions? And I'll be dropping my email in chat for those wondering. Okay, so if nobody has any other questions, I'll be passing it to the school's resolutions. So yeah, thank you so much for listening.
Awesome, thank you, Valeria. Okay, great. So hi, everyone. I am Sarah. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a coordinator with City Youth versus Big Oil. I'm going to be telling you a little bit about our school resolutions campaign. So we have been organizing in school districts, high school, student governments, college campuses to pass resolutions that call on Governor Newsom to act on our stop, drop, and roll demands. And if you don't remember, those demands are to have Governor Newsom stop issuing new oil drilling permits, to drop existing production and begin a just transition towards renewable energy, and then roll out setback limits that protect communities from the health impacts of oil drilling. Okay, so you can see an example of a resolution here on screen. That's the one that was passed at UC Berkeley, but these resolutions are a campaigning tool that are meant to demonstrate widespread support for our demands and also amplify the voices of young people. So this is just one more tactic that we're using to really try to get our demands heard by the governor. And we hope that through these institutions of colleges and school districts, that will give our voices more power. Sorry, have I been muted that whole time?
No, we could hear you.
Okay, cool. Sorry, it said I was muted for a second. But in the chat right now, I just put the link to our campaign packet, and that packet there gives all the information about our strategy and how this works. So yeah, Theo, could you go to the next slide? Cool. So this is what we've done. So in this past year, we've organized campaigns across California to pass these resolutions. And we've gotten some big wins in San Diego, UC Berkeley, and Santa Barbara. So now we're going to have a chance to hear from the people who were leading these efforts. So starting off with San Diego and Youth v. Oil, Gabriella, would you like to share a little bit?
Hi, I'm Gabriella. I'm from the campaign Youth versus Oil, which is a campaign that's in the CA Youth versus Big Oil Coalition occurring in San Diego. Basically, what we did is we introduced resolutions at multiple different levels. So we first introduced a resolution to the San Diego Unified School District, which passed unanimously, which was lovely. They're the second biggest school district in California. We also got a resolution passed by the San Diego City Council. And then finally, we got a resolution passed by the San Diego County Board of Education. So all very important and exciting wins. We did this because many of the people, especially youth in the emerging climate movement, are in high school or in college right now. And so that means that the administrations, the decision makers that are closest to them and that are most directly responsible for them are their school board members. And school board members and those sorts of people and people in education are often forgotten about as decision makers, but they do have a really important impact, an important amount of control. So we thought it was important to get them on board on paper as in support of our climate goals. That's basically the top level overview of our campaign. I would like to emphasize how I think the reason the campaign succeeded is because we were very organized. We had a very set and direct plan, and we were able to standardize this process of talking to school board members and standardize this process of getting other people on board and signing the resolution. And that really helped us as a campaign. So that's all. If anyone has any questions, please speak up.
Yeah, Pablo, go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you, everyone. So what you guys are talking about?
Oh, we're talking about, oh, sorry, you can go ahead, Sarah.
No, it's okay.
Oh, we're talking about passing a resolution at different governing bodies, so like the school board. It basically means that they sign something that says that they agree to take action on certain things. So they agree to speak out against the building of new oil and drilling sites. Does that make sense? hopefully.
Is there going to be accountability if they don't speak out against new drilling and oil and gas endeavors?
So that's what we're working on right now. The resolution, we're not seeing it as necessarily the point of campaign. It's like a first step. So earlier, Megan talked about the Sacramento action, about how we want to get people on board with taking that action. The resolution kind of paved the way because there's not any legal consequences if they violate the resolution. So it is non-binding, but because it got a lot of news, it does provide for a sense of political accountability. And then what we're trying to do now is meet with legislators more directly so that a law that mirrors our resolution can be passed. That's what we're currently fighting for.
Yeah, so right now these resolutions are really just a way to demonstrate support for our goals so that when we meet with legislators and when we meet with Governor Newsom, we have a lot more legitimacy to say that all of these institutions support us. Yeah. Are there any more questions? And we're also going to speak about the experiences on the UC level as well. Yeah, Pablo?
How about that thing that was sent to President Drake about the memorial of like cutting out carbon emissions to current levels to 60%? Is way off the mark from what's actually needed. It should be at least 80% to 1990 levels for carbon emitting. I think I put that in the Slack last week.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that specific policy, but we do have a lot of campaigns that are focused on our goals. Alex, do you want to hop in?
Yeah, of course. I just want to emphasize that this is like the school resolutions campaign. I know we've got a lot of like new people here from joining in. So like the school resolutions campaign is a great way to get involved. Right now, we're going to be like building up power and like organizing during the summer so that when we get to fall, when school starts, like we'll be ready, like you'll be ready to go in your campus or at your school district. So like this is somewhere where we need like a lot more people to get involved. So like if you're new to California Youth versus Big Oil and want to get involved, this is a great way to start. So I just encourage you guys to do that. And just huge props to everyone in San Diego UC Oil for getting it passed through the San Diego City Council, which is super, super huge win, and all the campuses who have done it as well. So just want to emphasize how cool this campaign is, and I'll pass it back to Sarah.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. We are kind of running short on time, and I do want to let Kat's going to speak to us as well. So I'm just going to keep going, Pablo, if that's all right. And we'll have, if we have more time at the end, I'll open the floor for questions again. But yeah, I was involved in the effort to pass this resolution at UC Berkeley, and it was actually pretty easy for us because Youth v. Oil had already put together a really great resolution. And so to clarify all this, this resolution campaign started in San Diego with Youth v. Oil, and it's sort of been adopted by California Youth versus Big Oil. I know we have similar names, so that might be a little bit confusing, but we sort of adopted the campaign to implement it on a statewide level and to hopefully get passed in more school districts, more city councils, and more UC schools. So the UC school aspect of that started at Berkeley, and so kind of the process for us, we got pretty lucky. There was a student senator, we call it the ASUC here, who attended one of our City Youth versus Big Oil meetings, and she was very involved in lots of environmental initiatives. So we got in contact with her, actually joined her team. Alex and I were involved in this. And started talking to her legislative team. We basically took the same resolution that Youth v. Oil had drafted and had already passed. We brought that to their legislative team, and they kind of tweaked it a little bit so it fit sort of the college campus context. And it was basically the same, but with some minor adjustments. And after they did that, they just presented it to the Student Senate. There was really very little opposition. We did get some co-sponsors, and it passed pretty easily. And that's probably because UC Berkeley is a pretty progressive school. But if you're a little bit nervous about this getting passed, just want to let you know my experience was pretty smooth. So yeah, and then we also had it passed at UC Santa Barbara. So Kat, do you want to speak a little bit about that?
Yes, yeah. Hi, everyone. Sorry, no matter how I move, the sun is going to cut my face in half in some way. So I am sorry about that. But yes, I got the like super awesome opportunity of being a part of getting the resolution passed in Santa Barbara. So basically how it happened, like just focusing on the resolution, was that we had like a student senator working on it, much like sounds like similar to like Sarah's situation at Berkeley. Like we have the UCSB Associated Student Senate, and we had a senator who was already kind of working on it and who was like in contact with CA Youth versus Big Oil, but then like kind of fell off the ledge at some point, and like it was like unclear, like, you know, like if the project was going to go forward, and it seemed like not. So I came in and I was like talking to the senator who had already approved the stuff, and she was like, oh, like here's the stuff, and like, yes, we can bring it forward and you can be a student sponsor. So I went to the Senate meeting and I got to speak about the issue, and it simultaneously like also smoothly passed. I will like put the caveat there of like UCSB is also like a pretty environmentally like progressive school, and also like the resolution, at least in terms of them, like it's not like the people on Senate necessarily had to like commit to anything. So I think that like that was a part of the factor too, but like it nonetheless lends like that like we have this, you know, like credibility of like voice behind. So it's still important, even though it's not specifically binding like for UCSB to do something. But yes, so we passed that. It went over like fairly smoothly. The academic senate, just like my advice to you, or just like any like legislative board where you have to like do stuff or you're trying to like get them passed, like just be like flexible and really work on like the strategies of knowing your audience. Like if you're proposing to a school board, like know who all of those members are and do like really rigorous research on their background to make sure that you're like appealing to the right points of kind of like the agenda, and that will help intermesh a lot better. And then also in the end, we released an op-ed, and that's like super important. Make sure that you have like press materials ready when you're done with like a resolution campaign, because otherwise it can get like passed and then like lost to the wayside. So it's a great opportunity to like generate up conversation and all of that. But yeah, so that's kind of like the how the Santa Barbara resolution campaign went, and I can totally answer any questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Kat. So yeah, just to clarify again, we're passing these resolutions in schools and school districts to, like Kat said, start a conversation about this and also to demonstrate support. So if we can go to the governor and say, these schools all support this, their student senate support this, it's going to give us a lot of credibility. So now I'd like to talk about where we're going. Theo, awesome. Okay. So where we're going, so we're not stopping here. We'd really like to keep this momentum going. Our ultimate goal is to get this resolution passed at every UC campus and at least 3 to 4 new school districts. And in order to do that, we need your guys' help. We want really this to be a grassroots movement happening in communities all across California. And we will be organizing trainings throughout the summer with people who are interested, so that in the fall you're all prepared to get these resolutions passed and make this happen. So like we've been plugging throughout this whole meeting, if you're interested in doing a resolution, go ahead and put that in the exit survey so we know to reach out to you and get this started. And it's a really great way to start your involvement in Save Versus Big Oil, and we're really hoping to get people excited about this. I'm putting my phone number in the chat right now if you have any like specific questions that you want to come to me about. I'm very happy to help you out. But other than that, I want to open the floor for the next like minute or two if anyone has any questions for me or Kat or Gabriella about the school resolutions campaign before we close out. And yeah, Pablo, if you want to go ahead and ask your question.
Oh, I'm going to give you a phone number. Can I have it?
Yeah, I just put my phone number in the chat. You can also text me yours and we will reach out. Okay, great. Any other questions that you want to bring here? Feel free to text me if you have anything. If not, I'll pass it back to Viviana. Thanks, guys.
Hi guys, so thank you guys so much for joining. We're gonna give you guys an exit survey. In this exit survey, it's basically gonna be about how you guys can connect with us more, or if there's a specific area in the whole presentation that you were most interested in, there's a way you could connect more with each other and with us. So please just take time and do the survey. I hope you guys had a great day. Thank you for being all part of the action.
So please do fill out that survey before you leave. And if you want to stick around and ask the coordination team any questions, please do stick around to ask away. We'll be here for a few more minutes.
Thank you.